Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on news up at Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. We're streaming on Facebook right now on 3FM 927 all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Beatrice.
This evening here on Hot Edition, Ghana finally clinches deal with its official creditors on debt restructuring after months of negotiation. Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam is hailing this agreement, saying it will pave the way for work on stalled infrastructure projects to resume in earnest. We have a conversation on this.
Also coming up, minority in parliament issues a 24-hour ultimatum to government to clear global fund medication stuck at the ports.
This evening here on Hot Edition, 11 drowned, 6 rescued and 5 missing as service boats capsizes on River Oti. We have details shortly. Stay with us.
Later tonight, National Labour Commission directs aggrieved NIA staff to call off their strike. But the national leadership of the workers says that decision rests with the general membership.
We have details of this plus the latest in business, sports and also campaign trail here on your election command center. Stay with us. It's a full bouquet for the next 1 hour 30 minutes. Grace Amojiman is here. Summary of the news.
Alfred, let's start from the seat of government. Government says major stalled infrastructure projects will resume in the coming days following its agreement with its official creditors last night. The agreement on the MOU paves way for the IMF to disburse some $360 million as part of the IMF program. The $5.1 billion debt owed to external bilateral creditors, including the IMF, remained the only impediment to Ghana's next tranche of the IMF fund, following an initial stall some months ago over concerns by some members of the creditor committee. Government says it has reached a deal on how the debts will be repaid from 2026. Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam says the agreement brings immediate impacts on Ghana's economy. Two other stories: the Narcotics Control Commission, in collaboration with the UK National Crime Agency, has successfully intercepted a significant drug trafficking attempt at the Kotoka International Airport in Accra. Acting on intelligence, officers seized 166.88 kilograms of suspected cocaine on Monday from the luggage of 2 British passengers traveling together. According to a NACOC statement, the estimated street value of the confiscated narcotics is $6.48 million. The detainees, identified as Hall, Shamim, Etling, and Graham Omar Adele, were scheduled to board a British Airways flight bound for Gatwick when their luggage raised suspicion. Both individuals have been arrested and are currently assisting with investigations to determine the full extent of the trafficking operation. And the minority in Parliament has announced its support for the free senior high school bill pending its presentation to Parliament. This move aims to dispel speculation that the National Democratic Congress plans to cancel the policy if it forms the next government. MP for Bosa South and Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee, Dr. Clement Apak, in a statement, emphasized that the minority is not opposed to the policy and wishes a proposed bill which will ban future government to continue the policy. Finally, the Gamanche has challenged the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to immediately find sustainable and result-oriented solutions to Accra's filth problems. Named Takite Kochu II, interacting with market queens on a tour, questioned why initiatives geared towards ridding Accra of filth have not yielded a desired result. He charged the Greater Accra Regional Minister, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and others to find solutions to the problem of filth in Accra. That's it for the summaries.
Great. So, Mojiman, thank you. That's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition. Remember, we're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's get into the first story of the Official Creditor Committee's Memorandum of Understanding as communicated by the Finance Ministry earlier today.
Indeed, and the government says that major stalled infrastructural projects will resume in the coming days, following its agreement with its official creditors last night. The agreement on the MOU paves way for the IMF to disburse some $360 million as part of the program. The $5.1 billion debt owed to external bilateral creditors, including the IMF, remained the only impediment to Ghana's next tranche of the IMF fund. Now, following an initial stall some months ago over concerns by some members of the creditor committee, the government says it has reached a deal on how the debt will be repaid from 2026. Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam says the agreement brings immediate impact on Ghana's economy. Listen to him address the press a while ago.
Historic agreement under the G20 Common Framework. The G20 Common Framework is a new initiative, and it's only Zambia which has so far reached similar agreement with the official creditor committee for Zambia. Ghana's achievement yesterday is landmark for several reasons. Number one, we reached an agreement in a relatively shorter period than what happened elsewhere. Whilst others achieved this in about 3 years period, we have done this under 2 years, specifically in 1 year, 4 months or so. And this demonstrates not just the efficiency of our negotiation team, but also the confidence the international community, particularly our bilateral official creditors and our development partners, continue to have in the management of the Ghanaian economy. We also, therefore, want to thank our development partners, the World Bank, IMF, the African Development Bank, and all other development partners for their continued support at this time.
And you heard the Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adam, and indeed, this is something that economists are interested in. A number of them have been giving their opinions as regards what really this means for us and the impact this will have on our economy. The Finance Minister already thinks that there would be an impact with this MOU agreed on some 360 million coming through very shortly in the next tranche.
Indeed, and as you see it, this is just with the bilateral creditors, Beatrice, and this is very different from what we're going to be dealing with the commercial creditors. These are the Eurobond holders. And so that distinction needs to be made very clear. And you see, when you're dealing with the commercial creditors, the complexities are quite different and a little difficult, to get. We went into this negotiation with the bilateral creditors with the hope of getting them to give us some form of a debt forgiveness.
And that was what I thought we would get at the end of the day.
That did not happen. What has happened now is that this $5.4 billion that we owe these bilateral creditors is going to be paid in 2 tranches. That's the information that we're getting from our sources at the Finance Ministry. So the first tranche is expected to be paid in the next 16 years.
From 2026?
And this is from 2023 and 2039 to 2040. 2039 to 2040. And then the second tranche will be paid from 2040 to 2041. That's the next 17 years. So we're looking at a situation where, yes, this is good news, but this is essentially we postponing the headache of paying our debts.
The question is, at the time you want to pay, how sure are you that you're going to have the money to pay it?
That's why some measures need to be taken as we speak. To achieve this debt sustainability of between 50 to 60%, we have to see at least a review of some agreements and these deals we have with these oil companies that are exploring oil in this country. There's been calls for agreements with these mining companies to be reviewed so that the country can get more from beyond what we're getting right now. Because at the moment, if you look at how things are, a chunk of our external debt is held by the Eurobond holders. I mean, the over $30 billion external debt component that we have. $13 billion is what is up for restructuring, held by the Eurobond holders. And so if you're looking at that, the Eurobond holders are also looking at what is happening now with the bilateral creditors and this agreement that we've reached with them. They've seen that, okay, the bilateral creditors did not give Ghana some debt forgiveness. So there's something in this debt negotiation where we call the comparativity treatment. So they are looking at what is happening now and comparing it to what they have been offered. Because last year, if you recall, the government of Ghana went to this Eurobond holders and said, you know what, we need 30 to 40% haircut. We want you to take 30 to 40% haircut. What has happened now, based on the comparability principle, they'll be looking at it and saying, would we give you the haircut? You know, so there are a lot of complexities in there that we'll have to deal with. But I think that, you know, going forward, Professor Subing is on the telephone now.
Hello, Prof. Hopefully he's on with us. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and good evening to listeners. Thanks for having me.
The government is obviously, I'm sure you might have heard the finance minister excited about this landmark or milestone, as it were, on this IMF journey. Let's start from the basics. What does this really mean? He's already thinking of impact on the country's economy, but from where you sit, what does this agreement on the MOU mean for us?
So I think the agreement on the MOU is a very crucial step in finalizing a part of the debt restructuring. To get the IMF program, we have to do a debt restructuring. And we have already finished the domestic debt one. The external one is made up of the bilateral and the Eurobond holders or the commercial partners. Now, you recall that back in April when we reached the staff level agreement with the IMF, the condition, the outstanding condition before the agreement will be sent to the IMF board for approval before the money will be dispensed is that we get the deal with the bilateral partners. So I think that is what this means. So it means the last hurdle before the SLA on the second review is sent to the IMF board. It's exactly what this is being referred to. So all things being equal, this should create a way for that SLA to be sent for approval so that the 360 million will be released.
So obviously that cleared, but should we be really excited about this? Because if you're looking at particularly our debt, we've just postponed it. We are eventually going to pay. We did not get debt forgiveness, and neither did we get reduction in how much we'll be paying eventually.
Yeah, so actually I haven't had the opportunity to listen to or read the specific details, but my understanding is that there's no reduction in the nominal amount of the debt. It's just more or less a postponement or
5.1 billion we'll be paying from 2026.
So, yeah, I think, in the immediate term, well, so it's generally positive news, but it's just positive news with qualification. Because the fact that this gets out of the way and we can submit the second agreement to the second review to the IMF board is good. The other thing is that you have to...
Hello, Prof. Are you still with us? Okay, it seems we've lost Professor Patrick Isuming on the line, but we'll be reconnecting to him because that crucial question of where we get the 5.1 billion from to be able to repay even from the time that we've set for ourselves. Is Prof back on the line with us?
Unfortunately, he's not back. We'll still work on the telephone to get him. And we need an answer to that question because this debt moratorium period that we're enjoying, or between now and 2026, what's going to happen between now and 2026 is crucial. And whoever wins the 2024 election should just bear in mind that, look,
you have something to pay.
You've got a lot. So when you hear, for instance, I've heard the likes of John Mahama make the point that they need some what is it, honeymoon or something of the sort. That statement that was misunderstood or misinterpreted in that way, they've come to explain that whoever wins 2024, the reality of the state of the economy will dawn on you after 2024 because of everything that's happening right now. All the debts we have to pay, we are pushing it. The repayment period.
Is Prof back on the line with us, Alfred? Just a moment. Prof, hello.
Yes, I'm back.
Thank you very much. So you were making a point earlier, and the question was, as we prepare or we get excited about this temporary relief, as it were, how do we get ourselves prepared? Where do we get the 5.1 billion from to pay this debt from 2026?
Yes. So I was explaining that. Yes. So I was essentially explaining the positive part. The not so positive part, on the other hand, is that because we didn't get any haircut, if you will, and based on the comparability principle, and I heard Mr. Ocansey explaining it nicely, the commercial partners, the Eurobond holders will look at this and say, no, if we didn't get any haircut from the bilateral partners, they are not going to give us any haircut. So essentially, I don't know why we are calling this a landmark deal, but it's not landmark in terms of the savings that we are going to make. But of course, it means that it's going to buy us some time to get ready for the actual repayment. So on that score, broadly, it sounds like good news, but when you look at the details of what we are getting, it's not such a great news.
So that's why within this period, between now and 2026, the question is, what do we do to ensure that we are able to meet our obligations?
I think there are two things. So the immediate thing is fixing our public finance, and that comes with two things. One, government revenue, government finding ways to raise more revenue. Two, government streamlining its own expenditures. Because if we continue to pile up deficits, we cannot be able to service the debt. We are ultimately going to pay. The other thing is, most important of all for me, is the economy has to be growing. If the government is going to collect more revenue, it will be easier on the government if the economy is growing. It's very difficult to collect revenue from an economy that is not growing. Collect additional revenue. So we have to ensure that the economy is growing. And mind you, our foreign debt, we need to be generating foreign currency to be paying. So we need to be thinking strategically how we generate more export revenue. And that will come from diversification of the economy and ensuring that we save substantial revenue from cutting the sort of things that we are importing that we should not be importing. So essentially, we need to tackle the real side of the economy, but we also need to tackle government expenditure.
Again, one other issue coming up is, and this is a conversation you and I have had for months, which has to do with whether or not we can return to the international market, financial market. Some analysts do not think so because we need to clear the other side of the economic problem as well before we think of returning. Where do you stand on this?
I don't think we are going to go to the market anytime soon. And frankly, I don't think that should be our priority right now. The economy has difficulty, and we should focus on fixing the difficulty. Because our public finances are not in good shape. The economy is not growing. Our currency is not stable. I think that if we get too fixated on going to the market, when you go to the market, what do we do? You just go and acquire more debt. Debt that we are struggling to repay. So I don't think that we shouldn't be thinking about returning to the market. In any case, when we get out of this difficulty, I think we need to start thinking about financing our development in a slightly different way. Clearly, the use of the commercial debt, which has higher interest, has not helped us at all, especially because the debt that we've acquired, we have not been able to account properly, or we have not been able to use the debt to do things that generate revenue to service them. So for me, I think even if we wanted to go, we are not going to be in a position to go for the next 3 or so years. And frankly, that shouldn't even be our focus at all. We should focus on fixing the fundamental problems of our economy.
You just talked about what we are even using the money for. So we are going to be in that cyclical situation, because you heard the finance minister there talk about using the money to finish infrastructure or continue with stalled infrastructure projects.
Yes, I think on that score, like I was saying, there are some of the road projects in particular that were being funded by donors that have been put on hold because of the debt restructuring. So we expect the other one will resume. The other thing is, even though we are not receiving any haircut, we are making some savings on some of the interest that were due to be paid. So those savings are now there for the government to use. But we have to be careful that we don't misuse that, because don't forget, this is not debt that will be forgiven. This is money that we will pay. So we better use them carefully and make sure that whatever infrastructure projects that we commit them to, they are going to generate sufficient revenue to pay the debt, because ultimately we are going to pay.
Is there a way this, finally, before you go, is there a way this could help us stabilize our city? Because that was the hope even before the first tranche came in. Hello? All right, we seem to have lost Professor Patrick Isuming, but we do apologize for the poor quality of our lines today. But that was Professor Patrick Isuming. He is an economist with the University of Ghana Business School.
A crucial conversation indeed, and it's one that we'll definitely be referencing as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. 23 minutes after 5, the minority in Parliament has given government a 24-hour ultimatum to clear drugs from the Global Fund, stuck at the Tamale port for over a year. Ghana is at risk of losing the next tranche of health support from the Global Fund. Despite budgetary allocations for the NHIS towards the Global Fund, the drugs have remained at the port over a year, risking expiry. More than 120 containers remain stuck at the port since May 2023. The Global Fund has also threatened to withdraw support for Ghana. 3 civil society organizations, mainly in tuberculosis, malaria, and HIV and AIDS, petitioned the president over the development and have threatened to hit the street on June 25 to back their demand for an urgent action from government. The minority says the situation is unacceptable. Ranking member on the Health Committee, Kobdamita Kando, spoke after a meeting with the representatives of Global Fund earlier today.
It is quite disheartening to hear that foreign donors put huge sums of monies together and decide to give us grants. They buy commodities, drugs for Ghana. It is transported from the country of origin, it gets to Ghana, and these drugs are kept at our port for more than a year without clearing them to put to good use for the benefit of the citizens. Don't forget that these drugs have lifespan and some of them are expiring. I knew, and I've always known, that this government is irresponsible, but I didn't know this level of irresponsibility. And what shocks me is that in the 2023 National Health Insurance Formula, an allocation of not less than 80 million Ghana cedis was made to that effect. 80 million Ghana cedis was made, and I have in my hands a copy of the National Health Insurance Formula for 2023. Why can't we waive taxes and duties on medications to save the lives of people? And today, we are told that now those taxes have been waived, but there are demurrages. This country is governed by the taxpayers' money. And the taxpayers' money must be put to judicious use. And therefore, Mr. President and your Vice President, at least the right to healthcare is enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. And you should not continue to disgrace Ghana like you continue to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is our expectation that within the next 24 hours, we must hear something positive with regards to the clearing of the containers containing the drugs from the port. I thank you for the opportunity.
So that's Governor Mitakando there. It's a ranking on the Health Committee of Parliament. Let's say a bit further on this and also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Sebastian Sandari, who is a member on the Health Committee of Parliament and also a member of Parliament for the Dafiama Bosie's constituency in the Upper West region. I appreciate your time. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Now, we got to know in April when some 14 out of the 182 containers at the time was cleared with a ceremony organized for that clearing, that the Finance Ministry had released some 40 million cedis at that time for the clearing of the containers. We got to know as well that 17 million out of the 40 million was spent on clearing 14 of those containers in April. Any idea how the rest of the money, the 23 million, has been utilized, the Health Committee? Hello? Unfortunately, lost Honorable Sebastian Sandari on the telephone. We will try to raise him back on the telephone and to get some more information on this. But as we do know now from our checks at the Finance Ministry, some 40 million cedis was released in April to aid in the clearing of some of these containers that have items such as mosquito nets, antiretroviral medicines, the tuberculosis treatment medicines, rapid diagnostic test kits, and malaria treatment drugs, all donated by the Global Fund to the tune of some $45 million. That's how much these medical supplies that are the ports not clear, some of them we understand are expiring, which was donated by the Global Fund to the tune of $45 million there. Some 182 containers sometime in April were stuck at the port with these items. 14 of them were cleared on the 13th of April, and that cost us some 17 million cedis. We understand that the Finance Ministry made available some 40 million cedis for the clearing of these containers. 17 million cedis was used in clearing 14 of these containers. We don't have any idea of how the 23 million cedis left was utilized, and that's what I want to find out from the Honorable Dr. Sandari. If you can hear me, I wanted to find out from you the 40 million cedis that was made available by the Finance Ministry in April for the clearing of these items, these medical supplies at the ports. We understand 17 million was utilized in clearing 14 of the containers. Any idea how much the 23 million was used to clear?
Thank you very much. I don't have an idea. What I know is that we still have more than 100 containers left at the port. That is worrying to all of us as Ghanaians. And like the ranking member for the Health Committee said, the focus is that these containers should be cleared for the sake of saving the lives of Ghanaians who suffer from malaria, TB, or HIV. That is my concern, the concern of the committee, and that is worrying to every Ghanaian, because we fail to understand why commodities that are meant for these critical disease conditions are left at the port for more than 1 year. That is a difficult question that government must try and answer for Ghanaians, because one, you are supposed, it is the government that is responsible for providing the healthcare needs of the people of this country. You cannot provide these critical needs. A development partner, Global Fund, has supported in this direction. are bringing these commodities far away, close to the borders of country Ghana. And government can say that we don't have enough resources, enough funds, whatever the cost may be. We should be comparing life.
Hello? Dr. Sandari? Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Sebastian Sandari on the telephone and tried to raise him back to get some more information on this and the reactions from the Health Committee of Parliament as well, because we have information that some 7 million cedis is what is needed to clear these containers, and the Ministry of Health says they do not have the 7 million cedis to make available for the clearing. And initially there were concerns about the AU and COVID levies on these containers, that the government of Ghana was expecting Global Fund to pay some $3.6 million in addition to the $45 million worth of medicines they had given to us for free. And that's what we understand. Global Fund had indicated that they don't have the funds to pay that additional $3.6 million because of the amount of money that has been spent already in making these medical supplies available to the country. Now, that's where the issue is, and we understand that even in the midst of that, some monies were made available. Some 1.2 million cedis was made available by Global Fund about a month ago, of which we understand the Ministry of Health has used to clear additional containers at the port. So there's some information that points to the fact that this 7 million cedis that's left, the health ministry says they do not have that money, and that's where the question is at the moment as to whether we have the priorities set right on this matter. Dr. Sebastian Sandari, I lost him back on the telephone, unfortunately. We'll try to raise him. 27 minutes to the top of the hour, 6 p.m. here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Dr. Sandari, you are making...
trying to reach is on another...
Unfortunately, we'll get him on the telephone.
The person you're trying to reach...
and get some more information on this. Some 26 minutes to the top of the hour here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. And this is what the minority in Parliament have been speaking about with respect to what they expect government to do in clearing these medicines for the next 24 hours. That is what they want government to be seen to be doing, clearing these medical supplies from the ports within 24 hours.
It is quite disheartening to hear that foreign donors put huge sums of monies together and decide to give us grants. They buy commodities, drugs for Ghana. It is transported from the country of origin, it gets to Ghana, and these drugs are kept at our port for more than a year.
And Dr. Sebastian Sandari is back on the telephone. We hope to have some sustained conversation now. Dr. Sandari, you're making a point about why these medical supplies have been stuck at the port for over a year now.
Yeah, so that is what is baffling all of us. And the point I was making is that as a country, we should be, preferring life over looking for money. I think that is more important than the lives that these commodities are coming to save. Because we are talking about critical conditions, malaria, TB, HIV, and the gains that this country has chalked in the area of these diseases is through the support of Global Fund. Now, Global Fund is threatening. I mean, in the various cycles they bring money since 2002 till date, what they have brought to this country is over $1 billion US. What we are dealing with now, with all that government has paid and whatever, is about 7 million Ghana cedis that is left. In the next cycle, Ghana is likely to benefit more than 300 million US dollars from Global Fund. Now, what it means is that because we do not have, or government is reluctant to clear this item that just cost about 7 million Ghana cedis, if Global Fund decides that we are withholding our funding, they will withhold over 300 million US.
Hello, Dr. Sandari? Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Sandari again. We don't have the telephone lines being friendly to us this evening, but it makes a very critical point. Dr. Sebastian Sandari is a member of the Health Committee of Parliament. He's a member of Parliament for the Dafiama Busie Isa constituency. But let's take a listen to Emmanuel Hene, who is a Deputy Head of Operations at the Custom Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, giving an indication of where the problem is, why these medical suppliers have been stuck at the ports for so long.
Improve the health and well-being of our sisters and brothers who depend on them to survive. On behalf of the Commissioner General, may I use this opportunity to urge all ministries, departments, and government agencies to collaborate with the GRA and take advantage of the new exemption law to clear goods that are eligible under the law. This will help in avoiding charges, penalties, and demurrage at the port. The consignment we are here to hand over were eligible for exemption. However, there were some outstanding liabilities for third-party clearance, fees, charges, rent, demurrage, and other penalties on the goods at the port, which led to their being kept here at the port. As I have said before, it is the priority of the GRA to engage with stakeholders from all sectors to ensure that the authority is serving the needs of our clients, not only with integrity and fairness, but also with empathy. We will continue the drive to achieve the nation's revenue mobilization goals with empathy, designed to ensure that our clients understand our processes. This stance reiterates the authority's focus on putting the customer first in all our dealings. We encourage all persons in the tax chain to reach out to us for assistance when they need help.
So that's Emmanuel Hene, who is the Deputy Head of Operations of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. They're giving an indication of why these medical suppliers have been stuck at the ports. The problem is outstanding liabilities on the part of third parties, issues of clearance, fees, and demurrage. And this is why we have medicines over $45 million donated by a global fund stuck at the ports. When we understand that TB medicines are in short supply, you know what this means? It's a health threat for all of us, because if people who are with TB don't have medicines to take and they come out and start coughing, they expose all of us to it.
And even the resistance to the drugs that they are taking, and it's developing into complications.
Antiretrovirals for persons living with HIV as well. We need them. They're stuck at the ports. Anyway, there we go.
Let's bring you some more issues. And the National Labour Commission has directed aggrieved NIA staff to call off their strike. But the national leadership of the workers, the PSWU, says that it can only call off the strike after meeting with members tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the NIA, Professor Kenneth Tefa, has promised to continue with negotiations with the workers. Deputy General Secretary of the PSWU, John Sampa, said they are disappointed in the ruling.
Yeah, Sampa, when are you calling off?
Well, we just finished the meeting. We have been directed to do whatever it takes to call the strike off. We are not entirely happy, but we will do our possible best. So that is exactly what we have told the Commission. We are looking forward to call emergency council meeting tomorrow, and then we will we will let the whole country know the decision that we have taken.
You are not entirely happy. So what were you expecting that didn't go in your favor?
Okay, so we were looking at dealing with the real issues here, but I think the commission dwelt much on procedures. And they are saying that by procedure, a local union has no capacity to call a strike. It is national unions that are able. So the PSW, we have the capacity to call strike. But on this matter, the local union went ahead to call the strike action. We pleaded with the commission in caucus to actually put the procedure aside and to look at the substantive matters. But they also think that the procedures are equally important and that we should call the strike action. We should attend to the meeting on Friday, and if we still have grievances, then we can get back to them. You can be very sure that although the local union called the strike, the local union and the mother union are the same.
That was Deputy General Secretary of the PSW, John Sampa. Let's hear the Director of Salaries at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Cephas Amanda, also giving the Commission's response to the issues that were raised.
So, how have you found proceedings today?
The proceedings have been very fair to all parties.
Now,
and we are satisfied with the outcome.
Now, the concerns of the workers are that Fair Wages and Salaries Commission have been too laid back. How do you share that?
That is never true. In fact, when we had the first issue of strike, we were the very institution that came in to invite the parties to the negotiation table. And indeed, the last meeting we had with the unions was on the 22nd of May. And before we scheduled meetings, we had to do a lot of consultations because the national purse does not lie with us. We also have to consult our stakeholders and our principals to be sure that the negotiation we are going into can be fruitful. If we don't get any mandate, it will be difficult for us and useless to call them for a meeting. But it is instructive to also note that the last meeting we had was on the 22nd May. And the letter they issued out indicated that on the 23rd, they had resolved to go on strike, which means that they came to that meeting with preconceived notions.
Do you sense some smart?
I would like to also put on record that at the point of departure in our last meeting, the two unions that were represented expressed satisfactions with the processes.
Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the NIA, Professor Kenatefa, has assured of getting the concerns of the workers resolved.
Prof, are you satisfied with the proceedings today?
Yes, I'm very satisfied with the proceedings and with this outcome.
And what was the outcome, Prof?
The outcome is basically that the strike action called by the local union is without legal basis, an illegality, and the mother union of the NIA division of the Public Service Workers Union have been directed to ensure that the staff return to work, that the union calls off the strike. But we were represented here by the lead government agency, that is the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And my senior colleague, Cephas here, will speak to any other matters other than the headlines that I have given you. The National Identification Authority has done nothing wrong. The Executive Secretary of the National Identification Authority has done nothing wrong. Staff of NIA, some staff of NIA, who constitute a union, have embarked on a strike. The state agency that has responsibility for fostering industrial peace in the country has called us together. The people who declared a strike were not present. NIA that has done nothing wrong, but had been embarrassed, the nation that had been embarrassed by the actions of the strikers. We were present.
Executive Secretary of the National Identification Authority, Professor Kenatefa there.
You're still live here on Hot Edition on 3FM, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. It's some 40 minutes to the top of the hour, 6 p.m. here on Hot Edition. Keep your thoughts coming through 3FM 927. Read out to you and to the rest of the world. And to some stories as we've been monitoring quite closely in the OT region. Now, some sad news that we got earlier. We're getting confirmation now that 11 people, including 2 minors, drowned Tuesday evening when a boat in which they were traveling on the Oti River capsized. 6 people have been rescued and 5 others are still missing. The assembly member of Dambai Lakeside, Emmanuel Atali, said that soon after the news, a massive rescue operation was launched by the Navy officials and local boat operators. Immediately, 4 women, including a baby girl, were found and rushed for intensive care at Dambai Healthcare. According to the news we monitored, the boat, which took off from Dambai, was heading towards Njari, a farming and fishing community under the Krachi East municipality of the Oti region, when the disaster struck. Sources say the passengers on board were returning from Dambai Market, which comes up every Monday and Tuesday. Clement Kwesi Cheki, chair of the boat operators, expressed deep grief over the incident. And from our sources, as we're hearing there, as at the time of getting this information, searches were underway to find the 5 other missing persons. So that is the information that we have right now coming through, and this is one that we'll keep an eye on as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 in Y and beyond. Now, the Senior Staff Association of the Universities of Ghana, Federation of Senior Staff Association of Ghana, FUSAG, and the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEWO, have served notice of a strike action on June 21. The unions say they are unhappy with the exclusion of their members from the recent review of the vehicle maintenance allowance and other related allowances by government. This is contained in a statement we've just received. Now, the unions argue that the exclusion violates the principles of fairness and natural justice. For more on this, we're going to get through shortly with the national president of the Senior Staff Associations of the Universities of Ghana, George Ansong, to get some more information on this as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7.
But ahead of that, pre-tertiary teacher unions have cautioned the government not to introduce a new bill on the free senior high school policy. The unions say that the government should rather focus on allocating funds to resource the schools than introducing a new bill. Let's listen to the General Secretary of the Association of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, Thomas Musa Tanku, speaking to us earlier.
We're talking about access. We're talking about management. We're talking about resources, providing resources. We're talking about the issue of quality and then sustainability. Sure. These are the 5 issues. Now, the access of it, we are doing well. And the reason why we've been able to do well in the area of the access, it is because of the free SHS. Before the free SHS, we were doing around 750,000 to 800,000 there. We are currently doing around 1,350,000 thereabout. So 1.3, 1.4. That is where we are operating now. Look at the gap, significant one. We've been able to increase the numbers all because of free SHS. So access, we are doing well because of the free SHS. So when I heard that we are going to make a new bill and all that, the last time I checked, and I've reviewed all the concerns in education, legitimacy of the free SHS is not one of them.
It means that we don't need a new bill.
We don't. If there is any reason why they must tell us. But for now, we don't. If there is any reason why we need a new bill.
Thomas Musa Tanko is the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Let's go back to our earlier story with the Senior Staff Association of the Universities of Ghana. and the Federation of Senior Staff Association, the FUSAG, and the Teachers and Education Workers Union serving notice of a strike action beginning June 21, which is just some 10 odd days away from now. And thankfully we have the national president of the Senior Staff Association of the Universities of Ghana, George Ansong, is joining us. Mr. Ansong, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Good evening, sir.
Now, I recall that we had a conversation a number of months ago about this same issue about, the conditions of service as well. Now, your primary issue here is that you were excluded from, your members were excluded from the recent review of the vehicle maintenance allowance and other related allowances by government. Is that the real issue?
Yes, exactly so.
Now, what should have been the case?
The case is that this allowance has been there ever since. And any time there is an adjustment, all qualified members of staff, be it senior staff, junior staff, or senior members, we equally enjoy it. And this is the first time ever we are hearing that the review is only meant for UTAG members, and the rest we are not part. And the sad aspect of it is that some of my members are under serious emotional stress because some of the universities are governmented institutions. So they prepare their payroll, go to government and take the money before they pay their members. And because this is an automatic thing that anytime it is adjusted, we pay. They were paid, except those who are on controller payroll. Those ones were not paid. And now what we are hearing is that those who were paid, they are going to take the money away because it was an illegal money. Those and aside UTAG members, the rest do not qualify for upward adjustment.
So who said this is illegal payment? Who said that?
It is a fair wages.
So they're going to take the monies back?
Yes, because some, as I'm saying, those under controller were not paid. But we who are under subvention were paid. So they don't see why we should take that money because we are not part of that increment. And a lot of people are in distress. They don't know what to do. That this little money that has come, they are going to take it back and revert us to the old rate. Whilst there's an agreement that every year the rate will be reviewed 2 times. So the first part of the year it is reviewed, then the second part is reviewed. Now you go ahead and review it and tell us that we are not part of it. We can't understand it.
I see. So now, what exactly are you expecting of Fair Wages and then also the other bodies to do to avert the strike?
The simplest thing to do is that let the default run. What is always happening that when the rate is reviewed, whoever qualifies takes how much the person is due. We don't say that some section will take a certain rate and others will take certain rate. Of course, maybe comparing the number of gallons, somebody will take, say, 20 gallons, somebody will take, say, 10 gallons. But when it comes to the rates at the pump, the pump price, that one, everybody takes the same thing. So if, let's say, the pump price is 15 cities, then everybody takes the 15 cities, multiplied by the number of gallons that the person is due. And that is all. But now you are telling us that though you have adjusted it, we should still remain at where we are. And this is unheard of. This is the first ever time that this kind of thing is happening. And I don't think members will take it lightly. So we are just asking them to revert to what has been existing. And then everybody will be fine and there will be peace.
And that's the only way you would not go on strike on
exactly so. Because you see, all 4 unions embarked on strike not long ago. based on the same issue because government was delaying in the review. But when we embarked on strike, government saw the wisdom to adjust the rate and then give it to everybody. So if another rate is being reviewed, why do you say that it is only one union that qualifies or benefits? We don't understand. And we can never understand.
Right. Zanson, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Welcome, my brother.
Great. Zanson there is the president, the national president of the Senior Staff Associations of the University of Ghana, George Ansong. But news just coming through right now. This is some breaking news coming through right now here on Hot Edition. The Ghana Police Service has arrested the new Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate for their Menfi East constituency over recent comments in a video that has gone viral on social media. Eric Frimpong was seen addressing a forum with individuals believed to be illegal miners, allegedly advising them to resist military officers who claim to be patrolling the area and attempting to forcefully remove them. Also present at the forum was the Western Regional Minister, Kwabena Dako Mensah, who also heads the Regional Security Council. Now, and as Frimpong has already denied the allegations and asserting that he did not endorse illegal mining or encourage miners to fight military personnel. Now, that is information that we're having right now, that Ernest Frimpong, the parliamentary candidate of the MPP in the Menfi East constituency, has been arrested by the Ghana Police Service. If you recall, the environmental NGOs had demanded his arrest, and then also that of the Western Regional Minister, who was at the same event, seated right behind him, but said nothing. Well, at the courts today as well, when Nana Pia Mensah, popularly known as Nam1, appears in court on July 10 this year, he will either walk free or be forced to open his defense, because the court would have determined whether the offenses he has been charged with have been proven by the prosecution or not. Stay with us. After this quick break, we'll get into the business news and we'll come up with the details of this particular one here on Hot Edition.
Everyone is running to Bills. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes with acquiring any of our loan facilities. For whoever you are and whatever you're doing, Bills has a product for you. No susu, no deposits. All you need is your Ghana card. Call 0302-200-390 or 0596-928-33 today and live a bill-free life. Bills Microcredit is licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
So cool.
Ready. Set. Go.
Calling all vendors, parents, guardians, expectant mothers and fathers. The 3FM Baby Fair is back. 3FM 92.7 presents the 3FM Baby Fair 2024. Your one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, and child development products for 3 exciting days on Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th, and Sunday the 16th of June 2024 at the Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. Are you a vendor or dealer in children products or services, children educational materials, or anything related to children of all ages? Then you need to be at the 92.7 3FM Baby Fair. To be a part of the fair and exhibit your product and services, please call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 right now. Parents, make it a family affair at the 3FM Baby Fair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement. 3FM Baby Fair on the 14th June, 15th June, and 16th June 2024 at Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. 3FM Baby Fairs powered by 3FM, supported by TV3 and Marina Mall. 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. 3FM Baby Fairs proudly sponsored by the First Bank Ghana, Cousins Baby, and Fidelity Bank.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition with me, Michael Obodu. Coming up, a rate of general price increases slows down by 1.9 percentage points as May records 23.1% inflation rate. Please stay with us for details. Thank you for staying, and straight into our top story. Figures from the Ghana Statistical Service show a positive trend in inflation. The rate of increase in general price levels is easing. Food inflation, a major contributor to the overall inflation rate, has shown significant improvement. According to the service, food inflation for May 2024 was 22.6%, down from 26.8% recorded in April 2024. This represents a decrease of 4.2 percentage points, indicating a significant deceleration in food price increases. Professor Samuel Kobna is government statistician.
On a year-on-year basis, the 23.1% that has been recorded for the month of May 2024 is the lowest rate of inflation that has been recorded for the last 26 months. The 23.1% that has been recorded for the month of May 2024 is the lowest rate of inflation that has been recorded in the last 26 months. Specifically between March and May 2024, we've seen a decline from 25.8% to 25.0% for March and April respectively, and currently 23.1% for May 2024. Month-on-month rate of inflation that has been recorded for the month of May 2024 is the highest that has been recorded in the last 10 months. We saw a deflation in August 2023, and since then we've not recorded a month-on-month inflation higher than 2.0%. We did record 2.0 in January 2024, and the 3.2 month-on-month inflation that has been recorded for the month of May 2024 is the highest that has been recorded in the last 10 months, with July 2023 recording a marginally higher rate of 3.6%.
That was government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna speaking there. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of Daylex Finance, Joe Jackson, is urging the government to take stronger action to accelerate the decline in inflation and stabilize prices. He emphasizes the need for proper policies to ensure that the burden of inflation doesn't fall disproportionately on the most vulnerable.
Inflation has dropped. Remember that inflation is the increase of prices, the rate of increase of prices. So it doesn't mean that the price hasn't increased. It doesn't mean that the prices are going to come down. It just means that the speed at which they are rising will slow down by 1%. Unfortunately, that's not significant enough to make a dent in your pocket. That's not significant enough to take away the crisis in cost of living that we are facing. Truth of the matter is that things are trending in the right way, but prices are still go at a rate at which it is so difficult. Life is difficult. But at the same time, we thank God for small mercies, and we thank God that at least it is trending in the right direction.
So that was the Chief Executive Officer of Daylex Finance, Joe Jackson. Now, away from that, the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, CIMG, has initiated the Regional Brand Index showcasing the strength of each of the 16 regions in Ghana. National President Dr. Daniel Kasati, at the launch of the 35th CIMG Awards, said the pioneering program is a means to the bigger agenda of marketing Ghana as a corporate brand.
Well, we launched the Ghana Regional Brand Index, right? What we sought to do from the beginning was to identify some key competitive areas, key pillars around which we measure the strength of the brands, the regional brands. Okay? You check again through the rankings and you will see. That is why we say this report is mainly targeted at investors, the business community generally, tourists, both local and international tourists. Okay? As you travel around, you are able to choose which pillar attracts you or which pillar interests you and why you must patronize a particular regional brand. We are not a profit-making organization. We are a precise governmental institution that seeks the public good. Anything that promotes the interests of the consumer is what we stand for. So we will stop at nothing to continue to champion the interests of the Ghanaian consumer.
So that was National President of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Dr. Daniel Kasati, bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.
Vendors, parents, guardians, expecting mothers and fathers. The 3FM Baby Fair is back. 3FM 92.7 presents the 3FM Baby Fair 2024. Your one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, and child development products for 3 exciting days on Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th, and Sunday the 16th of June 2024 at the Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. Are you a vendor or dealer in children products or services, children educational materials, or anything related to children of all ages? Then you need to be at the 92.7 3FM Baby Fair. To be a part of the fair and exhibit your product and services, please call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 right now. Parents, make it a family affair at the 3FM Baby Fair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement. 3FM Baby Fair on the 14th June, 15th June, and 16th June 2024 at Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. 3FM Baby Fair is powered by 3FM, supported by TV3 and Marina Mall. 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. 3FM Baby Fair is proudly sponsored by the First Bank Ghana, Cousins Baby, and Fidelity Bank.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Oreko Ampofo, and we begin from the camp of the Black Stars because Tariq Lamptey says that he's confident that Ghana can book a place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Black Stars are currently second in Group I after winning 2 matches against Mali and Central African Republic in the June international break. In an exclusive interview with 3 Sports, the Brighton right back admitted that the team is still young, but they do have everything it takes to be at the joint hosted World Cup, which would be at the US, Mexico, and Canada.
Yeah, I think we definitely believe in ourselves. We have the talent, as we know. We just have to focus on what the coach has to say to us. Take it game by game, work as hard as possible, and hopefully the results will show. We worked hard in the build up to the last 2 games, and we got the results we deserve. So hopefully we can keep pushing and qualify.
So that was Tariq Lamptey. He played 90 minutes in the 2-1 victory against Mali and also came on for the game against Central African Republic. Played 15 minutes. The Black Stars won that by 4-3. Tariq Lamptey himself was the first time that he was playing at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. There's more of this exclusive interview much later on TV3 at 7:40 during News 360, and so you do want to make a date. But moving on, let's talk about the Ghana Premier League because there was job-breaking results this afternoon as Dreams FC put 8 goals past Real Tamale United. Ejenim Boateng Mensah scored 4 goals to climb to second in the top scorers list as Dreams automatically are safe in the Ghana Premier League after that result. They now jump to 11th place with 45 points, and they are 4 points clear of the bottom three with one game to go. This comes after RTU there were reports that RTU themselves had a number of their players failing to turn up at the due to unpaid bonuses in the past few months. This is a developing story that we'll be bringing you much more of later on 3 Sports. And so you can follow us on social media and also check 3news4/sport. My name is Oreku Ampofo, and Hot Edition continues right after this.
Vendors, parents, guardians, expectant mothers and fathers. The 3FM Baby Fair is back. 3FM 92.7 presents the 3FM Baby Fair 2024. Your one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys and child development products for 3 exciting days on Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th and Sunday the 16th of June 2024 at the Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. Are you a vendor or dealer in children products or services, children educational materials or anything related to children of all ages? Then you need to be at the 92.7 3FM Baby Fair. To be a part of the fair and exhibit your product and services, please call 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 right now. Parents, make it a family affair at the 3FM Baby Fair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement. 3FM Baby Fair on the 14th June, 15th June, and 16th June 2024 at Marina Mall Airport City, Accra. 3FM Baby Fair is powered by 3FM, supported by TV3 and Marina Mall. 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. 3FM Baby Fair is proudly sponsored by the First Bank Ghana, Cousins Baby, and Fidelity Bank.
Thank you very much, Oreku Ampofo, for bringing us the latest in sports. And you're still here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Welcome to Campaign Trail. On Campaign Trail tonight, the Convention People's Party is 75 years today. Formed in June 1949, the CPP, led by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, won independence for Ghana from the British colonialists. But the once vibrant political party has since lost its glory, with its presence on the political landscape barely felt. The once election-winning party has seen its fortunes dwindle, election after election, and currently does not even rate as a third force. With some 6 months to the December general election, the party has instituted an 8-member independent committee to steer affairs of the party until new national officers are elected. The committee is chaired by Wing Commander Patrick Sogbojo, retired, and he's our guest on Campaign Trail tonight. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and thanks for talking to your listeners.
First of all, let's find out from you, as an elder of the CPP, I don't think you're happy with the state of the party. What really went wrong with the Nkrumah's party?
Well, certainly, I don't think you need a ghost to tell us what the country or where this country is at the moment. If we can,
Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yes, please. Go ahead with your point. We lost a bit of what you said.
Yeah, we're saying that we don't need a ghost to tell us the direction of where this country is going. Everything seems to be in a mess. If we look at within the 75 years and maybe the first 20 years after the inception of CPP, and look at how far this country had under the leadership of Kwame Nkrumah. Eventually, he was labeled with all kinds of things, and the coup succeeded. When the coup succeeded, those who were lambasting him or lambasting the CPP for all the woes, within 3 years, suffered the same fate. And what really hurt, assuming that they are taking the 10-year development program of the CPP, the other parties which came in, I don't think Ghana would have been where we are today. I don't know how old you are, but at my age, and maybe up to those who are 40, 50, could see where Ghana was once CPP was overthrown. And then legally the party was banned for so many years. The only time the CPP came back had to come back on a different name, PMP. It's after the PMP came to power, we went back to court and we were allowed to use the name CPP again. But today ask, what is the development program of Ghana? What direction are we taking? Now, to come back to the CPP itself, because there have been many areas of attack and people not wanting the CPP to succeed to our current situation in the country, we sat back and said we will not allow CPP to die. We want to resurrect it. First of all, the machine of the party should start the structures which have been destroyed, and allegiances going to NDC or the MPP. This is not our goal. Let's revive the CPP, and maybe within a short time we can come back on our feet.
Captain, do I hear you blaming people and circumstances for where the CPP
yes,
has...
I mean, why did they legally, if those days you even had the picture of Kwame Nkrumah, you were subjected to 18 months imprisonment. All his books and things were burned in BAM Library in Lagos. It was unfair to talk about it. And we were not allowed to come back until PMP came. We couldn't even use the name CPP.
So
there are many builders, yes.
So the saying is that you can cry over spilled milk. Eventually, you were able to get some of the things you needed. The question is, you're an elder of the party. Together with others, you could have still held the fort and made it at least a better country.
This is exactly what we've done. We realize that the structures in the party have been destroyed. They have established new, parallel structures in the party. And this is not the way CPP was run. So we decided to take it up and then reorganize it to give the better air to breathe, so we can come back on the stage. And this is exactly what we are doing.
Okay, so we just have a few months before the general election. You're looking forward to reviving the CPP after 75 years. What exactly are you going to do? You're yet to even elect your national leaders.
Well, a party without structures, without the main machinery working, cannot stand anywhere. Once you put things in order, we're sure we may not make it as much as people expect, but we'll make a finger. I mean, it's like you asked me the question, since you don't have a heart, how do you survive? We didn't have the machinery of the party running, have been taken out by individuals believing as if the party, the remnants of the party, were their personal property. And that's why the founders sat down and said, no, we should now get the cities back. And that's exactly the step we are taking so far.
We'll end it here. Thank you very much. That was Wing Commander Patrick Sobojo, retired. He's the chairman of an 8-member independent committee set up to steer the affairs of the Convention People's Party, which is celebrating its 75th year since its formation, and this is towards the 2024 general election. You're still here on Campaign Trail on Hot Edition. We'll bring you more, but ahead of that, for 15 years, Quick Credit has been your trusted partner in micro-lending, empowering lives and making dreams a reality. Today, we're excited to announce a new age. Quick Credit is now Bill's microcredit, still committed to serving Ghanaians and changing lives. Bills is here to show you that everything is possible. Join us as we embrace a brighter future. Bills, financing your needs.
Well, so live here on Campaign Trail on your election command center. Samson Asaki Awingo is here. Let's talking about the CPP. He is with the PNC, and we're talking about the Nkrumahist parties. Samson, it's good to have you join us here on Campaign Trail on your election command center.
Thank you very much, and let me say a big congratulations to the CPP for attaining 75 years. It is not easy. It has come far, even though there are so many challenges, and of course, every home there's always challenges, I think.
But you both have similarities. You're all born from the Nkrumah stock. There have been talk of you even considering uniting and joining forces because over the years, your electoral fortunes have been dwindling. So why are you not considering that the marriage of PNC and CPP?
Well, if you look at the Wing Commander initial remarks, he made mention of when CPP was banned, then the party became, they formed the PMP. Remember our late president, former president, Dr. Hilary Mann, was brought in and he won that elections. And we could see how he was able to turn around the corner of this country, buying 2 vessels, ships for this country. And whatever that he did during that time was very impressive. Fast forward, another issue came, coup came, then we also gave birth to a new party called the PNC. I think Dr. Hilary Mann went for 92 elections, and 96, Dr. Liman and Dr. Edward Nasegri took over till when 2012 Hassan came, and then till when 2016 and 2020 when Apasita came. So yes, I agree that we have the same similarities with the challenges of voting patterns not being so good. But the worst scenario was in 2020 elections when we really could not stand the grounds when GUM became the third force party as compared to, it used to be PNC. When PNC at some point, I think 2004 thereabout, we have about, I think at the point we had about 4 MPs or so. On the likes of Honorable Debure, Honorable Moses Daneba, Ambassador himself, and the late Haruna Bayarga was a member of at some point we also have Azon. I think Professor Mel's time, we had Azong, who was also coming from the bush. So the issue is we, the PNC, we still have areas that if we really start politics or campaign on time, we can easily take certain seats, even including the Bolga Central seat.
Talking about campaigning on time, we're just less than 6 months to the elections. Just like the CPP, they haven't elected their flag bearer, the national executives. You, same story. You haven't elected your flag bearer or your national executives. What's happening?
Yes, so that is the challenge that we find ourselves. After 2020 election, you know that the history of PNC, we end up in court. And I strongly believe that that didn't go well. But thankfully, on the 8th of March this year, the court ruled out and give the PNC that the leadership that was contested in court should go ahead to be the leaders, and our sisters and our other brothers break away. I was expecting the party to hold a NEC meeting somewhere, if not March and then April, but the executive decided to stay on till just last Saturday that they had their first NEC meeting after the court ruling and coming out with the guidelines. I think that the guidelines that came in also saying that by we shall go for presidential Congress in 31st August. I strongly believe that it's too far. I wish it should come closer. Maybe it could be June or July ended. That could be good than going to August. Again, the NEC could not do a good job for us. I'm saying they couldn't do good job in the sense that if you look at the guideline that came, there was nothing like committees. We didn't see committees for even presidential, those who are going to vet those potential candidates, and of course the amount of figure that they also put. I strongly believe that it's a way. PNC should not.
How much? So for the flag bearership?
I think they say flag bearership nomination form alone to go and pick the form that you want to contest is 10,000. If you are bringing the form back for filing, it is 100,000.
That's 110,000 cedis.
So even not that I cannot pay, I can pay it for that money. But the point here is, even
you can pay for
election,
it.
Yeah, of course, yes.
You have money.
The national election, the EC has paid presidential candidate to be 100,000. And so why would I take 100,000 to get for party filing internal elections? Then we'll go, the same person will go and raise money to go and file at EC. I think that strongly that is not the way. And of course, you also have constituencies to go around, to cut across the constituencies before elections can be done. And so we need more resources. And PNC should not use bureaucracy to deter potential candidates away. I'm not saying I am scared, but I strongly believe that there are other people who have even expressed the interest to also come and contest, yet we didn't see. If you look at the NEC meeting, on Saturday meeting, you realize that there's nothing like parliamentary candidates election. So I also constituency elections, regional elections, national executive, and then presidential primaries that will be done at Bono East, and the venue is yet to be agreed on. And I think that the NEC again did not do well, because how can you go to NEC and you've forgotten a date for parliamentary elections? Or is it that they are going to make the parliamentary election both? And they could have stated, if that's what they mean, they could have stated both parliamentary constituency and parliamentary elections will be held the same day. But on that guidelines, there's nothing like that. So I think that the NEC will have to come back again. They have to reconvene again. One, to reconsider the nomination filing fee, to reconsider the form fee that we have to, nomination fee that we have to pick from of 10,000.
That's 10,000
I
for the flag
remember
bearership.
vividly that Apache should not be the first person to preside over this, because 2020 elections, when we were contesting with him and myself, it was 50,000. We stood on our ground, and they brought it to 30 or 20,000 that we pay. And so he shouldn't come to preside such a thing. And I remember before Gannett was exited, they also met and said they were going to pay it at 2,000 for picking of nomination, and I think about 100,000. Even with that, we said that wasn't the best way. So I strongly believe that they have to reconstitute, they have to reconvene, and rethink about the situation very deeply well. And I think above all, we need to know who are the committees. Because if as a potential presidential candidate as I am, I would want to know the names, so that if there's anybody who biased towards you, you can raise it now before even that date comes. And the date of 31st to, I think, is too far. After that election, you will have just 5 days.
5 months.
To go, no, 5 days to go and file at EC. And remember, if this elect you and you have 5 days, completing the form is very complicated, the EC form.
Yes.
And any error, that single error can lead to rejection. EC can just easily reject your presidential candidate form and say, we can no longer contest for that election. That would be suicidal for that. I think that at least after presidential primaries, we should have about 2 or 3 weeks to the filing, and we know that by 5th of August, presidential candidates are to file with the EC, isn't it?
Yes.
And so if by 31st August, okay, 31st
July.
Sorry, 31st. No, 31st August. I didn't say July.
No. I mean, yes. You're saying the 5th.
Our guidelines
is the 31st.
Yes, it's not June. We are in June.
Yes, so July.
It's not July. No, go and look at it. Is it not August? It's August. I sent the document to you.
Okay.
Yes, I sent the document to you yesterday. Can you please get that one clearly?
So so by end of the August.
Yes.
But they're filing the Electoral Commission for presidential candidates.
Yes.
Or flag bearers.
I think it's 5th.
Is the
something.
5th?
Is it 5th August?
Yes.
5th September.
It's actually the 5th of August.
It's the 5th of August. Okay, so that our date alone. So that our date alone would be 31st August. Here is it?
I see.
Yes, national
so that's another concern that you have.
August.
Okay.
So that means that this meeting without considering the fact that the EC has also come out with their timetable.
So those are the other concerns that you have.
Yes, I don't know. Can you help me? You are the media.
Indeed.
The EC came out with a timetable, and they gave a time. It's the 5th of August that we should file presidential and parliamentary. So I know we are saying 31st August. We are going for prime. So that alone tells you that meeting that it has to be squashed, and they have to reconvene to reconsider both the figures, the committees, and the amount that we are going to file. Then also consider the date that in which we are to file. So I think that July, middle of July should be good. Not even the end of July.
Right.
Middle of July. It can be 30th, can be 20th. So the person can have ample time to prepare himself to be able to get proper documentations and then file at EC.
Samson Asaki Awengobe, thank you very much. Flag bearer hopeful of the PNC. Also talking about the woes of the CPP. And they have so much in common. As being children of the late Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and their problems are the same. Oh boy.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you so much for staying with us here on Campaign Trail, on your election command center, also on 3FM 92.7, on 3news.com, and join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. My name is Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Beatrice. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a good evening. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.